So back in 2005, we honored the great journey of Lewis and Clark, following in their footsteps from the high, dry side to our low and damp shore. And in 2006, we explored the blues and the Elkhorns. And last year, we celebrated our 20th anniversary with that ride for the ages, along those pristine Forest Service roads, up those monster hills, and that legendary day at Crater Lake. And so we wanted to do something even better this year for our 21st. And because we think that in September, there's no prettier place to ride a bicycle than this, we decided that we'd start our 2008 tour in Northeast Oregon. We're going to gather on the afternoon of September 8th right here. This is the Grand Ronde Valley. Here at the foot of the mighty Blue Mountains, we'll gather together on Saturday night in the quintessential western town of Elgin. We'll start off on day one rolling out across that Grand Ronde Valley. Yes, they really do grow grapes these days along the Grand Ronde Valley. There really is Northeast Oregon wine. And we'll have lunch that day in the tiny town of Cove with its picturesque Ascension Chapel, the 1869 jewel that still fills the capacity every Sunday in Cove. And then after lunch, we'll wander on a straight shot across this gorgeous valley floor. My first promise to you all this evening, there are absolutely no hills on day one. Now, many of you will recall that I said that last year. But this year, it's actually true. There are no hills on day one, and we'll end our absolutely flat first day in the lovely little town of Union. Union has a truly splendid collection of old buildings, and it's now basking in its reputation as the place that offered Cycle Oregon one of our warmest welcomes in recent years. That's day one. It's a nice, leisurely start for everyone. Elgin to Union is 45 miles. On day two, we'll leave historic Union, riding along the foot of those magnificent Elkhorn Mountains, and we'll turn east, riding the Catherine Creek drainage, just about as bucolic a ride as you can find. It's a long, gradual inclination. I did not, you notice, use the actual term climb. It's a long inclination, and then we'll drop down into the scenic valley around Medical Springs. From there, we'll pedal on through those sagebrush draws and those rimrock vistas, heading now south and east, on through the mixed conifer forests towards our stop for the night, Baker City. Because we know that even on day two, some riders just can't help themselves, they want more and more and more, we'll offer our first of our option rides this year on through Haines and North Powder that will then loop back to Baker City. So on day two this year, we'll offer rides of 45 and 83 miles. Day three. Baker City, of course, is home to the finest collection of Victorian buildings in all of Eastern Oregon. It really is an astonishing collection of fine buildings in the town. And we're going to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to ride around downtown before we leave. Today we'll start with a warm-up ride to the splendid Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. It's a great chance for visitors from far and wide to see the actual ruts of the tens of thousands of wagons that pass this way over Flagstaff Hill. So here's our first climb up over Flagstaff Hill. No complaining, incidentally, about doing this on a bicycle. If they could do it in Pioneer bonnets, beating the hell out of oxen, we can do it on our bicycles. On the other side of the hill, we'll join up with the winding Powder River, riding beside it for mile after mile before dropping for lunch into Richland. After fueling up, we'll challenge ourselves with the first ascent, still not actually using the term climb, the first ascent, and then we'll drop down the other side into Pine Valley, where waiting for us will be the community of Halfway. Halfway is the place where a few years back, the community was at risk of losing its civic heart, its rodeo grounds, and the Cycle Oregon Fund put up the first of its major signature grants of $50,000 to secure the land and hand it back to the community. I bring this up only by way of mentioning I think we're in for an awfully nice welcome when we get back to town. And yes, we're going to have a little rodeo when we get there. This is day 3, Baker City to halfway. It's a 52-mile ride for those who go straight up and down, and a 70-mile day for those who take the afternoon excursion. On then to day 4. Today is really about doing whatever you feel like doing. It's our layover day in the Pine Valley. If you feel like hanging around camping halfway, that's just great. If you want to wander out to Cornucopia, well, that's just great too. This is, after all, the greatest of all ghost towns in all of Oregon. We'll be offering escorted tours out to Cornucopia. If you feel like a nice little spin on your bicycle, you can, of course, drop down to Oxbow Dam and take your first glimpse at the mighty Snake River. If you feel like an up-close look at Hell's Canyon, no sweat, we can do that too, though actually quite a bit of sweat will likely be involved. It was 104 degrees last time we were in Hell's Canyon, which made for a warm afternoon on a bicycle, but we're offering a terrific ride, a spin up the Idaho side of the canyon to the end of the road at Hell's Canyon Dam. Just remember, before you set off down the hill to the dams and to the river, that we are camped at the top of the hill. And if you want to get back there, you're on your own. This is day 4, our day in halfway, 35 miles or 80 miles. Day 5. So Oregon, Cycle Oregon, as you've sort of gathered, is becoming a little more touchy-feely. You know, we're being kind and open and eager to embrace everyone. So you can ride 40 miles or you can ride 60 miles. We'll carry your bag for you and we'll put a mint by your pillow and we'll do all that. But there is this sort of long-standing Cycle Oregon tradition that once during the week, you have to kind of suck it up and get on your bike and do something that you would never, ever do on your own. But you will do it because 2,000 other crazy, stupid people have decided it's a good idea. And because at the end of it, you'll think, my God, you know, that was amazing what I just did. And you'll feel great about it. So this is why day 5 was invented. It's the centerpiece of our tour. There are no options out at day 5. There's only one way to go, and it's straight uphill. We thought that we could include this day 1 major climb, and then we thought, well, why not 2 major climbs? And then we thought, hell, we're out here, we may as well do 3 major climbs. And then right after the last climb, we put in a little teeny tiny bonus hill for the real riders. So leaving Pine Valley, we'll head into that high, magnificent Wallowa country. The secret here is pacing. You'll remember me saying that when you're halfway up the second hill. And at the summit, you'll be rewarded with a rest stop at the stunning Hell's Canyon overlook. We'll drop down then to lunch back in the forest, and we'll climb some more in the afternoon before finally dropping again and riding along Little Sheep Creek, heading now into the Wallowa Valley. This is widely regarded as the most beautiful barn in Oregon. Our welcome to the magnificent Wallowa Valley. And then on we will ride into Joseph, the little town that really does seem like a little slice of heaven. And finally, we'll make our way to our campsite on the shore there of Wallowa Lake. This is quite simply one of the great days on a bicycle. Nobody who completes this ride will ever forget it. It's 77 miles, 71 of them are uphill. It's 83 miles if you do that little tiny bump up to the overlook. Some of you are wondering why these red zones are marked on the doctors made us include those. These climbs get a little steep in places, but as Roland reminded you at the beginning, you can all start training tomorrow.